Let's talk about therapy. If you've never been to therapy, I would highly recommend it. Therapy has changed my life so many times, whether it's been a personal issue, like with a family member, or even an issue with somebody like at work. A therapist can help you talk through almost any issue you have. Look, you might be dealing with a breakup, or it could even just be the state of the world. There are so many things in our lives that can cause anxiety and stress and even depression. And telehealth has made mental health care more convenient and accessible for millions of people. However, critical challenges like finding a good therapist, scheduling that appointment, the expensive out of pocket costs still keep a lot of people from getting the care they need. Rula is on a mission to make high quality mental health care from a licensed professional easy and affordable for everyone. Rula's got you covered. They take most major insurance plans, and the average copay is only $15 a session. You can now get the quality you need when you need it at a price you can afford. Rula also sticks with you throughout the journey, so they make sure you get the best therapy and that you make progress. And with Rula, every provider is carefully vetted and chosen for their expertise. So you'll always know that you're in the hands of quality providers who are dedicated to making real progress in your care. The first step on your journey to mental well-being is easy. Rula starts by asking you a few questions, and you guys know how much I love a questionnaire. They ask you a question about what's important to you, like what are you looking for? And then they give you a list of licensed in-network providers who match your preferences. You can schedule your preferred time and meet with your therapist as soon as the next day in some cases. Also, most online therapy platforms focus on connecting clients with licensed therapists, but they also fall short when it comes to help with medication management. And some of us really need that aspect. Rula has a wide range of licensed professionals, including psychiatrists, who will help you get the care you need, including medication. Rula is the place to go for your mental health care, even if you're not sure exactly what you need. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head on over to rula.com/pink shade to get started today. That's RULA.com/pink shade. And after you sign up, they'll say, "Where did you hear about us?" And please support our show and tell them we sent you. Again, that's rula.com, RULA.com/pink shade, and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It's Thursday. That means it's Pop and Bravo. And today we're going to do a little bit of pop, no Bravo, but mostly we're going to talk about cats. I've got my friend here, Chris DeRosa.
On the Bravo for today.
I know you're the Bravo. Because Chris can't talk about Bravo because sometimes he works for Bravo.
I can. It depends.
Okay. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about an incredible ID channel show. So the ID channel, you guys, has expanded The Curious Case of Natalia Grace into The Curious Case of. And this particular one, when I saw the title, The Curious Case of the Doomsday Cat Cult, I said, who better than Chris DeRosa to discuss it?
That's a compliment. That's a compliment.
Because I think initially I wanted you to do Natalia Grace with me, but then it was like timing. I was going to be out of town or something.
Sure.
So we are doing this one, and listen, before we got started, I was like, I'm not a cat fan. I've said it, but mostly because I'm allergic. So to me, they just bring me like physical problems.
Sure.
But we have a lot of cat fans. But I got to tell you, cats were a sidebar in this story.
Cats were also victims here and innocent bystanders, and I didn't like it. Yeah.
I didn't think that the cats needed to be living in squalor, nor did we need to see so much B-roll of cat poop.
One of my last notes is 20 cats is what happens on Hoarders, and they take all the cats away. You know what I mean? Like she was like, these people were causing Hoarders level situations to happen and took that upon themselves, and I didn't like it.
All of it was terrible.
Yes.
But you guys, okay, first of all, before we get into it, let me ask you a quick, my fan, sorry, I was trying to adjust my fan on my legs. That's a trick for you people out there. Just put a fan going towards your legs and your feet. You'll stay cool all day long.
Oh, wow. Stay cool. I'm trying to not die of frostbite.
I know, but ladies of a certain age, sometimes we
Oh,
get
sure,
hot.
sure, sure, sure,
Sometimes,
sure,
sometimes
sure,
we get hot and we need a
sure, sure,
little.
sure.
Listen, there's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have
No,
them
sure.
everywhere. There's one on
No,
my
yeah.
feet. There's one
No,
right
I get it.
here.
I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Again, I've worked on the Real Housewives. I get it.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine how much fanning you've had to do on those ladies. I have to tell you that I heard Sonia last week, I think, went on Heather McDonald's podcast, and she literally was like talking to her backstage from some fashion show or something she was doing.
Sounds perfectly right for my girl.
It was unhinged.
Yeah.
It was.
Listen, Sonia isn't a legend because she was like mild mannered and minded her P's and Q's. Okay.
It was unhinged. Now, first of all, Heather, of course, could not keep her on track with one subject and kept like,
No,
okay, wait. Let's go back to what you just said,
no, you're not. No, that's not gonna. That's an impossible task, is what that is.
But it was just so much like talking about her interns and how they get class credit. And Carol Radziwill was on this week and was like, okay, that's not true. But she goes, but Sonia goes, listen, what do they want to go like have to work at Barnes and Noble, or do they want to come with me and get to go to free for the Morgan Library?
There you go. There you.
Now
I mean,
I've been to the
can't
Morgan Library. It's three
can't
rooms.
argue
I
with
mean,
that.
it's
Can't
three
argue with
rooms.
that, Ms. Morgan. I can't. You know. God, I love her so much.
It's nuts. So was saying how she lives in Florida now, and
Hmm.
mhm, and she's just busy. So if they ask her to be on the traders, she absolutely could not do it because number one, she's got dates that she can't cancel,
God, I
and
think she'd be great though.
number
Sonya would be
two,
really good on the traders.
Chris, she can't be away from her cameos for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
No
that's
way.
true. No, that's true.
I was like, you can set it that you're out of town, but I think that
I know, but
she.
she makes so much money probably off of them. I one time,
But
this
wouldn't
is
she
like,
make just as much money off the traders in 3 weeks?
I one time Dorinda put me on a three-way call with like the like main, not the like owner of Cameo, but like the main head like person that booked people to be on Cameo. And
Yeah.
the first thing I got on the thing with them, and I literally said, I kick myself every single day because this idea is so easy and so genius. And the woman started laughing hysterically. And I was like, I'm so mad that I didn't come up with this idea because it's the easiest thing in the world. And
Yeah.
it's so what a moneymaker. And they make if you really push it, if you advertise it on your social media and stuff and you push it, they can make more than I make in a year in a weekend doing cameos.
It's nuts. It's us.
Yeah.
And especially if you're somebody like Sonia who doesn't mind just no makeup, do it from the
Like
bed, just lay down. Just lay
after a
down.
car accident, yeah, like truly like it being the jaws of life taking her out of a car and
Mhm.
she's ABC always be filming. You know what I mean? Like she's yeah,
Yes.
going
Yes.
through
And
going through TSA. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you always got to be making money, okay?
Wow.
If money's
Wow.
knocking on the door, were you not going to answer? No, you are going to answer.
No, I'm
And
going
the
to
thing is,
answer.
they expire. So that's the thing is like sometimes like we'd be like in the middle of a scene and they would be like, "Oh my god, my cameos are going to expire," and they'd be like, "All right, well you're doing your real job now right now. So like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
about we finish this and then you can go and do your cameos, you know?" But no, there's been times when they're like Dorinda will be like, "I'm going away," you know. She's like, "I'm locking myself in my room for the whole weekend and I'm just going to do cameos all day," and I like would make a humongous amount of money.
Misery to me.
Yeah.
Misery.
No, but I mean, it's lay in your bed and talk to people that aren't even there on your phone
Yeah. Well, that's
and
true.
make,
Talk to yourself. Yeah. Okay.
worse ways to make money is all I'm gonna say.
Listen, all I'm saying is I'm on Cameo. And
You are?
I've had 3 requests. So
Okay.
don't
Well,
want to brag. I
that's
think
something.
I made $12, but it's
Okay.
fine. Listen,
Should I be?
I
No, I'm not. Who am I? I shouldn't be on
well,
Cameo.
who am I? I'm doing it because Ingrid, my producer, made me. She forced me. She was like, "You have to," and she's like, "I'm doing it for you unless you do it for yourself, and I'm going to pick a picture you don't like." It's like,
Yeah.
oh my god. So yeah, yeah. And I got to tell you that the 3 that I've done really stressed me out because I was like, I gotta look cute. I gotta say the right thing. I gotta like follow what they're asking me to say. And I liked doing it because I liked what the request was that I was getting because it was like fun or funny, and then I could be
Yeah.
funny. I think for me, for women, not Sonia, because she doesn't give a shit, but for me, I'm like, I gotta try to like at least just slap a little makeup on. So in case anybody sends it to their friend, I don't look crazy like
Yeah, like
laying in
this
the
could go
bed.
as
Yeah.
we've seen, this can go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like they can go
Yeah.
on the internet quicker than quick. So you
Yeah.
have to, yeah.
However, I think if I got to the level of where I got, like 100 requests in a weekend, I probably would just wake up, have my coffee, and do it from my bed
Yeah.
if I was making that much money.
Yeah. No, listen, money talks and I listen. Okay. I have big ears and they're open. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You're so funny. I know you're not watching any 90 Day, but you're missing out with The Last Resort. It's really good.
tell me, I feel that some of my friends are currently filming the Last Resort situation. Some of my friends are in like tropical locations and I'm like, what is this for? And they're like 90 Day. So
Mm.
I can only imagine that it's for Last Resort. What goes on there?
Okay, so The Last Resort is couples that go and it's like their last resort, right? And they stylize it and film it and musically create it like it's the White Lotus,
I love
which
that.
the minute it came up, because I didn't watch last season because the worst of the worst of the worst people were on it. And I was like, I
Sure.
refuse.
Sure.
But this season was better people. So I was like, all right, I'm going to watch it. And I'm covering it. And when they go to with the music and then
Yeah.
walking in,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I immediately text Amy Archer, our friend.
Yes.
I text Amy. I go, "Are they always trying to rip off White Lotus?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's a pure rip off." I was like, "Okay,
I mean,
great."
I mean, I think it's that great.
It's people
I
that
love
need
it.
it's so what I call it Therapy Island. They need to go. They need to be on Therapy Island. They need to get like a couple of real therapists, and then one that is been exposed on the internet to be like such a fraud, like telling people to take ivermectin for their cancer.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And so she's on there, really giving the advice and hypnotizing people. And they're coming up with like their dark secrets. Like, I'm going to tell you that like once 5 years ago, I cheated on you, but were we engaged? Were we not? I lived in the Ukraine. I don't know. And then they like cry. And then it's like other couples like never have sex. And then there's Reba, the sex therapist, who's trying to get them to like, lick each other's nipples on camera.
Oh, brother.
I mean,
okay. Yeah. No, I can't. I can't. I can't.
You have to sort of know, like, if you know,
No,
like,
sure,
okay,
sure.
I know Jasmine and Gino. I know Sophie and Rob. Like, so if you know some of these past players that are there.
No, of course. It's like Girls Trip. It's like Ultimate Girls Trip. It's like
totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's like also like couples therapy. Remember that with Dr. Drew?
Yes, it's all of that. It
sure.
is like Girls Trip because it's like a best of, or worst of, depending on your outlook. People. Now, Amy Archer and I have come up with a spinoff of Last Resort, and it's called, because everything, is 90 Day Fiance : and then it's like the spinoff, right? This is 90 Day Fiance : PBU, which stands for Please Break Up. And we're going to do this show in my basement.
Yeah, bring them to the brink so that they have to break up with each other.
We're going to put them on the couch in my basement. We're going to film it on an iPhone, and we're going to force these people to break up and sign a contract so that they never come back to TLC ever again.
Yeah, you physically beat them into submission.
Like, please break up. We don't want to see you. A lot of the people that are on Last Resort right now, we know because we get the inside scoop, have already filmed a show called The Single Life. So they're on Last Resort to save their marriage, but they've already filmed a show called The Single Life.
Yeah, so we're doomed to. Okay, now the last time I was on this podcast, I got a lot of hate because
hate's a strong word.
I know. I'm just saying, like, people were not pleased with me slamming within an inch of his life 90 Day Fiance, which I understand. I came right to the house of God for 90 Day Fiance, and then was like, this is terrible. So I understand. I get it. I'm sorry. I get it.
Because we love it. We love it so much.
I know. No, I get it. No,
yeah,
listen, okay. I was wrong to like come here and give those opinions. However, do we think, will I do it again? Yes. How many of these people are in these relationships because the money works for them? Like their cameos are popping because they're on 90 Day Fiance versus being some random person from like Toledo, Ohio.
Okay, well, I'm going to say for the people that have been on multiple seasons or that are also on like Pillow Talk, their after show, which is hilarious. Matter of fact, don't even watch the show.
They just lay in the bed. No, they just like lay in the bed and comment on each other. It's like the people's couch, but it's like an incest people's couch. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny because they do sometimes they rip on people and sometimes they have a really wrong take. Like, no. Don't think that's a good guy. That guy's a misogynist dick. And they'll be like, he's so funny. And I'm like, no. But what is the percentage? I would say if they've been on more than one season and if they're on Pillow Talk, they're like
they're bought in. They're bought in.
And also Pillow Talk is the easiest job.
Yeah, you literally lay in your own bed and like have a microphone, right?
And then
don't they like have microphones? Like they hold them or no? They just sit there, lay there.
They have They each have
Headsets?
they each have one AirPod
No,
that they share.
are you kidding me?
But I asked, I believe it was Kimberly of Kimberly and Usman. I believe it was her that I asked, do they just send you the stuff and you self-record and then you send it back? And they're like, no, like a producer comes to our
Yeah, like
house.
people come with a camera. No, of course they do.
And see, in my mind, I was like, it's like my ring light with like you just
No,
put your thing in.
yeah, your phone is just in the middle of the ring light. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And they were like, no, the people come, they have a camera, but they do have the little production thing in the other room. And they do like 6 in a row or whatever.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, see, I thought they just like sent you the equipment,
So
had you
with
do it.
PS slam that you're like, oh no, I thought you shot this yourself.
Just because you don't see
No, like
any.
it's just truly like the lowest budget thing in the world. Yeah.
Is there a guy with a boom mic? How are they getting the good?
I'm
They're
sure
not,
that there is. No,
like,
they're probably mic'd up. They probably have mics on them.
I just can't see them. I just
It's
can't
fine.
see them.
It's you're not supposed to.
I know this is.
Every scene of Real Housewives, everyone has a microphone on.
They do.
Yes.
I guess they do. Sometimes you see them in their bathing suits, and those mic packs are like flopping off the back of the
Yeah.
string on the bathing suit. You're
Every
like,
scene,
yeah.
To boom someone is like so much. That's like, first of all, it's hard because you have to hold that for so long, and
Yeah.
two, that's like a less ideal way of capturing audio.
I got to tell you that. Did you watch the SNL special this
I
weekend?
sure did.
Okay. Did you see when Amy and Maya
in Bronx Beat? Yeah, the audio was all fucked up. Yeah,
but it was because of her hair was
it
hitting
was
it.
because of her hair. Yeah,
And I was watching it going, oh, it's her hair. It's her hair. And then I could see her sort of shifting like somebody off camera
because someone was. Oh, please! The number of times I've been do one of these,
yes,
of like push your hair, or I go like this during an interview. I'll go, and they'll do that to fix their hair in the interview, so that we don't have to like stop down for it. Yeah.
Then I saw a shadow of a boom mic come in,
and he tried a lot, and then it was bad.
and I was like, have I been watching TV for too long that these are the things I'm noticing?
Well, no, but that was like blatant, like knock on the door.
It was like on the mic.
It was bad. I was like, oh fuck, like the sound's bad.
Yeah, that sounds bad. I mean, how hard did you laugh at Eddie Murphy doing Tracy Morgan next to Tracy?
It was
Morgan?
Beyond.
They had so many things they could do.
When they did the scared straight thing, and then it was Keenan and Keenan and Eddie Murphy, and then when Will Ferrell came out and it was the three of them, we were rolling on the floor.
I was dying. I was waiting so hard. Like poor oh God, I love the guy that does Domingo, Marcelo, whatever his name is.
He's so fun. Domingo is like a tried and true. Like I like that they put in like, here's the really successful new sketches.
Yeah,
because that Domingo thing, he is so funny, and that was so funny. And then then Pedro Pascal comes out looking hot as shit. Yes, yeah. And then Bad Bunny comes out with like different hair and like a facial. There's times that I'm like, is Bad Bunny hot? I don't know. Do I think he's cute? Do I not think he's cute? There's something about his face I don't know about. At that SNL thing, we were all Molly Shannon, is all I'm going to say. When she was throwing it back on his penis, I was like, oh my God, I'm screaming. But then also, like, I would do the same thing. He looked so good.
Bad Bunny, whenever he comes on, I'm always like, that is somebody. And then, Bad Bunny. He's just not memorable,
No, sure, yeah.
But when I was trying
to... to me, he is now. I'll tell you that much.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you.
So good. They all did.
Me trying to explain to my husband that it's funny because Sabrina Carpenter sings Espresso. And
you have to.
And that's the song they're making fun of.
Yeah.
And I go, the song they do with the flat voice, like da 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 da, bum 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 bum. And he goes, yeah, what is that song? I go, it's a song, and the blonde girl is the one that sings it. He's like, wasn't she just singing with Paul Simon? I was like, forget it.
You're like, yes, yeah, like hello, yeah.
We're two.
Yeah.
And my daughter's in the other room going, Dad. Oh my God. It was great. All right. We're way off topic here.
Yeah. Sorry.
Let's talk about these. This is not your fault.
Yeah. Let's talk about these poor unfortunate souls that have been like ripped to shreds by this woman.
All right. Before we start, I really want to play a clip of Cheryl for you. And I want you to tell me off the bat, who is the housewife she reminds you of? Because it came to me immediately.
Oh, okay, play it. I don't know at all.
Okay. I'm going to play it one more time. Do you need a hint?
No, Shannon Bedore.
Nope. But same, but correct
Close.
franchise.
Not Tamara.
No. Okay, here you go.
I don't know.
It's Kelly Dodd.
Oh my God.
It's Kelly Dodd. You're stupid. Shave your face.
I have blocked her out of my mind, so that's why I
Good.
didn't even remotely think of that. But you are so right. P.S. Kelly Dodd will one day do exactly what we're about to talk about right now. Am I wrong? Right? She'll in some way do this. Pull a Steve Bannon and somehow defraud all these people of money. Yeah.
She'll be on her face going, "What? It's fine to call a gay person a queer. It's fine. You're stupid."
I saw a video, not to talk about her, but I saw she put on her story. She was walking through some hotel or something. Who knows? Trying to be look, I matter. And she was walking through the hotel, and she was pointing to the one girl, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're beautiful." And both of the girls go, "Thank you." And she goes, "Not you," to the other girl. I was like, "You're a fucking bitch." That's so mean. How mean is that? For no reason. Again, to some random person minding their own fucking business. Not someone that's running up to her being like, "Please, Kelly, can I take a picture?" You know what I mean? Didn't give a fuck about who she was. She walks up to them, recording them, and goes, "You're so beautiful." And both of the girls go, "Thank you." And she goes, "Ooh, not you."
First of all, that's my worst nightmare. Okay. That would be, that's when I go places with my producer, Ingrid. She's really beautiful and looks like Angelina Jolie. And sometimes we go places "Oh my God." And they just tell her how beautiful she is and how much
and
she
you're
looks
just
like
standing
Angela.
there
and I'm like, I'm very pained.
Yeah, speaking of White Lotus, the new season, the three girlfriends, that's exactly that. You're famous, and the other two are like, "Oh, she is," and they're you see the steam coming out of their eyes, out of their ears.
Another sidebar about White Lotus. So Parker Posey is twins with Chris Posey, who's dating my friend Gigi. It's all Mississippi, we're all connected.
Sure.
And so I was texting with my friend the other day about something else in Mississippi. He goes, "Oh, I'm in Laurel right now, blah, blah, blah." I was just texting with Parker, and I go, "Oh, I forget all of you are friends with Parker Posey, friends with her, because we're in the same high school class."
Yeah, sure.
And I forget that my friends that, and so I go, "My God, I would just literally do anything to be in her aura, just be in a room." He goes, "Well, I can just send me an elevator pitch, and I'll just see if she'll come on your show." And I go, "So that's sweet. That's never going to happen."
No, just do it. But you need to just do it and let her say no, or let her never respond.
I was like, "That's never going to happen." I go, "See, the way this works is you're best friends with her and you can send her an elevator pitch, but she's going to send you to her HBO rep, who will then send you to her talent manager, who will send you to her publicist, and it's never going to happen."
Just do it.
And he goes, "Maybe." I mean, I was texting her this morning.
Do the 5 minutes. Take the 5 minutes to write the elevator pitch that you already have, and then send it. And then that's 5 minutes out of your life. And then if you took 3 hours to do it, I would say don't do it. But if it can take you 10 minutes, that's 10 minutes of bullshit. You scroll on Instagram for longer than 10 minutes.
I do.
And with your thumb up your ass doing nothing, right? Correct or incorrect?
How dare you?
I speak from much experience. Do you know what I mean? And it's right, do the 10 minutes. You haven't do it. And then if you never hear back ever again, there's nothing wrong with that.
I just wrote it down, Parker Posey.
Okay. Good.
Do you know what I do at night? I lay on my bed after my shower, and I put on my red light LED stuff because I'm trying to age backwards.
Do it then. Do it then.
And no, that's when I look at TikTok. Those are the 15 minutes I allow myself to look at TikTok, and then I turn it off. Otherwise, I would be there for hours.
No, same. There's days that I'm "Oh, I've done nothing." I've been working all day. Don't get me wrong. But then I'm "Oh, every other waking minute other than writing emails and doing other things or editing or whatever, I'm I just mean scrolling through Instagram reels to watch nothing."
To watch nothing. I just, again, Amazon home finds. I mean, that's what I'm getting.
So, okay. Again, one day with this LED mask, that was 15 minutes. You're writing your elevator pitch.
Okay. Well, what I'm doing is texting Ingrid and going, "Please help me do this."
Please write this for me. Yeah. Don't you have, you have someone that you pay money that could do this for you.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
No
now we're gonna recap, guys.
People are coming to my house with bombs. They are truly
No, they're not, because you were nice about 90 days. So
sure.
Let's talk about therapy. If you've never been to therapy, I would highly recommend it. Therapy has changed my life so many times, whether it's been a personal issue, like with a family member, or even an issue with somebody like at work. A therapist can help you talk through almost any issue you have. Look, you might be dealing with a breakup, or it could even just be the state of the world. There are so many things in our lives that can cause anxiety and stress and even depression. And telehealth has made mental health care more convenient and accessible for millions of people. However, critical challenges like finding a good therapist, scheduling that appointment, the expensive out of pocket costs still keep a lot of people from getting the care they need. Rula is on a mission to make high quality mental health care from a licensed professional easy and affordable for everyone. Rula's got you covered. They take most major insurance plans, and the average copay is only $15 a session. You can now get the quality you need when you need it at a price you can afford. Rula also sticks with you throughout the journey, so they make sure you get the best therapy and that you make progress. And with Rula, every provider is carefully vetted and chosen for their expertise. So you'll always know that you're in the hands of quality providers who are dedicated to making real progress in your care. The first step on your journey to mental well-being is easy. Rula starts by asking you a few questions, and you guys know how much I love a questionnaire. They ask you a question about what's important to you, like what are you looking for? And then they give you a list of licensed in-network providers who match your preferences. You can schedule your preferred time and meet with your therapist as soon as the next day in some cases. Also, most online therapy platforms focus on connecting clients with licensed therapists, but they also fall short when it comes to help with medication management. And some of us really need that aspect. Rula has a wide range of licensed professionals, including psychiatrists, who will help you get the care you need, including medication. Rula is the place to go for your mental health care, even if you're not sure exactly what you need. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head on over to rula.com/pink shade to get started today. That's RULA.com/pink shade. And after you sign up, they'll say, "Where did you hear about us?" And please support our show and tell them we sent you. Again, that's rula.com, RULA.com/pink shade, and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares. Okay. The curious case of the Doomsday cat cult. Okay, this is how we start this, okay? This is a story of faith, family,
I can't.
and felines.
I can't. I'm done. It is correct. You are right.
A Pentecostal style preacher, also not a preacher, no training, manipulates her followers with emotions, embraces bizarre beliefs, and moves to silence her doubters. Okay, what did you think? The first person we see on this show is not Beth Karras, the narrator, but it is Mary Lancaster, lesbian follower.
This is what I wrote. This cult member in the yellow and black having a cat bridge on the wall behind her is beyond. Like from shot one, you see that this woman has been inundated with cats.
She later points out the cats on her shirt, and I was like, we saw them.
I didn't see that. I'm not going to lie to you. I was too fixated on her, but the cat bridge in the background mounted on her wall, permanent, like that I didn't even, my eyes barely flew to the shirt.
It was, but it was a nice cat situation.
No,
it wasn't one of those fuzzy things.
No. This was no joke. Like I was like, we have a cat person in our midst right now.
Yeah. And I liked her right away.
Me too.
And she was like, yeah, I kind of realized it was a cult when the cat stuff started. And then we hear more about what she went through. I was like, that's when you realized it with the cat stuff?
Yeah, also, but it's hard. Listen, it's hard to.
I know.
When you're in it like that, you don't see the forest for the whatever that saying is. You know what I mean? It's like you can't see outside of the bubble that you're in, you know?
She says the cats were God, and you were to care for them with the utmost attention. And if you cared for the cats, you'd be saved from Armageddon, and you didn't have the right to say no. And, it's like Quiverful, but for cats. Like the more cats.
Not Quiverful.
Quiverful for cats.
No, I know, you're right. I'm just like letting it wash all over me.
Okay, all right.
Oh, God. This is the thing. With any religion, now I grew up Catholic. I was an Italian-American, we.
Still are.
Roman Catholic,
Yeah.
So like, if the priest was like, you have to do this, we would be like, no. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
it's so just like we know everything. Again, like I could do a mass right now if I had to, like, and go through every single from doing it for so many years. Like it's 2000 years old. You know what I mean? There's like there's a 15-minute window where the priest gets to like do his own thing. Other than that, like it's very regimented. So whenever we get to these like Pentecostal or like more Christian, less Catholic sects of Christianity, you know, it's very, I'm always like, how do people fall for this? Because it's so like, oh, whatever I say goes. And they're like, okay. Whereas like, I grew up in like, and now this is the body of Christ. This is the blood of Christ. You know, now we're going to do the Eucharist. Then we're going to kneel. Then we're going to pray. Then we're going to sing a song. Then we're going to, and it's not a rock song about Jesus. It's like a song that's been sung for like 1,000 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a song from like 1845. Yeah. Not like, you are the preacher. You know what I mean? It's not like
I don't like modern. I don't like modern churches either.
No, it's very, and again,
traditional.
I respect religion in the sense that like if that is what you want to do and if that's what you like and that gets you through your day, you absolutely should have every right to do that. But like this whole like, and then my preacher told me this, and so we all just said yes. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Yeah, you shouldn't be controlled by the leader of your church.
No.
That person should be supportive of you and love you and not tell you what to do and give me all my money. It's more
or make you pay them money all the time.
Yeah, it's like if you don't have any money, that's fine. We still accept you. That's the whole point of Christianity and a lot of religions is accepting.
The most we ever gave was like a $20 in the little like pass around thing. You know what I mean? A little hat that you pass around. Like that was my tithing to the Catholic Church. My mom would pull 20 out of her purse and put it in the thing.
My mom or my dad would give it each, because it was the three daughters, would give us each $1, right?
Yeah, so sure. Like,
he would put a 5 in.
Yeah.
And we would put 1 in, Yeah. Come to find out later in life as an adult that belongs to a church, they also do want money from you every year in a big donation, but they don't come after you if you can't do it.
Yeah. Then if you
some years we can't do it.
Also, like they just are like, okay, you know what I mean? Like they're like,
they don't send a follow-up letter.
No, or come on your door and like physically harass you. Yeah.
No. And it's, by the way, it's if there's a year where we're like, okay, we couldn't give, whatever percent this year to the church, we feel so bad about it because like maybe the year financially wasn't so great or whatever. We're like not Catholic, but have like Catholic guilt about it that we couldn't do it.
No, of course. Yeah.
Nobody from the church.
Not like I may be ostracized or have physical harm done to me because of this.
Somebody may murder my mom if I don't give 6 of my 28K. So, Beth Karras, our host, by the way, Beth Karras was on Kate's podcast a few weeks ago. It was great. Yeah.
Easiest job in the business. All she has to do is bring that little accent of hers and that blue suit and sit down at a table and go, well, the thing about this is that this person really didn't know what they were getting into. Cut to everything else.
Like, that's a great Beth Karras.
Dream job. Can I be that? Dream.
Yeah, you'd have to be a little more serious to do it though.
Yeah, I know. But like first of all, Dominic has called her a boil that has fallen off of Nancy Grace.
Dominic, that is not nice. We like
it's horrible. I'm obsessed with her. But we were like, what in the dollar store Nancy Grace is going on here when we talked about Natalia Grace? All that to say, Beth Karras is laughing all the way to the bank because she's the host of this show.
Yeah.
And again, she showed up for one day. Speaking of, Pillow Talk where they shoot 6 in a day, she showed up at that one table one day and they told her everything to say and she did it and she's the host. So there you go.
And I bet she did all 5 of those in one day.
In one day, in one sitting, in one. She
changed outfits.
Didn't get up to use the bathroom. Like, she sat there and did her lines and then walked away with a fat check.
She's like, "Who are we talking about now? Bam Major who?"
I watched that one and was like, "Oh no,
I didn't watch it.
It's bad. It's really bad. Don't watch it. It's not great."
I just know who he is. I don't know.
I just had to. I loved Viva La Bam. My mom and I watched Viva La Bam like religiously. Okay. And so I needed to, throw him a view and it's not good. He's not in a good place.
One of my co-hosts, Keisha, she's obsessed with Bam and she was like, "Oh, I haven't watched that thing yet. I heard it's really good." I go, "I think it's super dark." She goes, "Oh, everything with him is super dark."
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
No,
okay.
I
As long as
haven't.
you know,
I haven't been keeping tabs on him, so it was rough.
it's a drug fueled situation, correct?
Yes, yeah, and
Okay.
like mental instability.
No, hand in hand.
Steve-O is there and is like where when we did Jackass, he was like a straight edge and I was a drug addict, and now like the seesaw has now flipped in the other direction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's bad. Anyway, moving on.
All right. So Beth Karras, she tells us that Cheryl had gotten about 200 followers at her church in Bellingham, Washington. Um, but just sounds really far north.
And also church in like skywriter air quotes.
Oh,
Right.
totally.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. But I got to tell you, this the way that they shoot this, and you've got to tell me from your production standpoint, the way we have the first like 3 segments of this talking about her ex-husband Mark, and then we meet Mark's ex-wife Mary, but we never see Mark. We're just talking about
And we're
Mark.
like, Mark's dead, Mark's dead, Mark's
And we're
dead.
like, oh my God, this is where it's going. She killed Mark and then like fed him to the cats. What's going to happen?
Yeah, sure. Fed him to the cats.
I was like, what? Because we never see him. So we meet Mary, the wife of Mark. Where's Mark? And she says, when I met Mark, I dreamed of this blended family like the Brady Bunch. I had 4 kids. He had 3. His ex-wife was the bride of Christ. So that was weird. We see Cheryl's wedding video that when she married God, she just has a wedding video with herself. And she says, the first time I met his kids, we took all 7 of the kids to Whistler. I was like, oh, you're rich. And I met Cheryl after that trip, and I immediately felt she was like a threat to me. Like she felt threatening. And she says, yeah, you know what we found out is that she was telling her congregation that she was a victim. Mark was manifesting demons, and that Mary, Mark's new wife, was a reincarnated temple whore named Ashra.
I wrote that all. I wrote not manifesting demons, all capitals, and then I wrote a reincarnated temple whore. Beyond.
Ashra. Well, first I wrote Astra,
Yeah.
and then I rewound it because I was like, that's weird. But no, a temple whore named Ashra.
And also, like, what? Like, like
Yeah.
can you imagine if you are at your church and this is what someone says to you
about their ex-husband?
Also, like, do these people have no, I'm just being mean, but like we went to church for 1 hour every week and then walked away and never thought about it again until we went the next week. Like she's like hanging with them, like they're like all up in the, you know what I mean? Like this is their whole life, is this church, like their whole life.
Yeah, it's a cult. It's a cult.
Yeah.
It's just like fucking Raniere and the Keith
Never
Raniere.
forget. I mean, plays the
Nexium.
volleyball games. Yeah.
Never. The forced volleyball games at 2 a.m. You will get up and play volleyball.
And if you like were invited, that was like as if Jesus himself had said, like, come get baptized with me.
And it's 3 a.m. and I hope you enjoy 3 a.m. volleyball.
Yeah.
I'm more upset about having to like be up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so she was telling all the people in her inner circle at the church from the pulpit that Mark, her ex-husband, needed to die. And actually, just like he was going to die, and she wasn't sure how, but she was like really putting it out there like years in advance, right?
Listen, manifesting. Manifesting.
And Mary, the follower, is telling us all about this. She's like, we would sit in small prayer circles and pray for the death of Mark because he was such a demon.
And that to me is like, how can you try to say that you're a religious person and then like wish that, which PS right now, especially, I'm going to say just in general, how can you say that you're a religious person and then be like, I wish for like suffering for all of these people?
Totally. And now we hear a taped interview of a guy named Rick. But Rick Madrid. Now,
what a name.
We're seeing Rick Madrid walk around longingly in a field quite a bit. Okay?
Yeah. We sure.
Okay.
The recreations in this were wild.
Well, I wasn't aware it was a recreation until we get to the end. Spoiler alert, Rick's dead. I was like, wait, what?
Allegedly dead, by the way.
Well, this wasn't him. Okay. This wasn't
I wrote Mick Madrid. Rick Madrid. I wrote ding dong. Here we go. He is every guy who comes to date a real housewife after their first divorce. I thought Rick Madrid was going to be like
nailed it.
I thought he was going to be like the real like problem that he was telling her like she should do all this stuff. That's what I thought when we first met Rick.
So we find out later, no, but we think that the production's interviewing him and that's how they're getting, but no. He says, when I met her, I like to ride horses, drink beer, and fight. I was a heathen.
Oh,
And
cool
then,
months, by the way.
I mean, and drink beer and fight. Sounds like Thursday.
Sounds great.
Mary, I have to say Mary, the churchgoer, instead of Mary, because there's two Marys and that's confusing. So Mary, the churchgoer, says,
The cat Mary.
We'll say Cat Mary.
Cat Mary.
What I have written down is lesbian lady.
Yeah,
but,
sure. Cat Mary, I think is more respectable.
I think that's probably nicer because because she didn't say she was a lesbian, but obviously she was a lesbian. I was waiting for us to tell her.
No, yeah, well, we got we got
there.
At the end, we understand why that was the way that this all played out. But yeah. P.S. Like, if you didn't think there was going to be queer sex in this, there is.
Yeah, I mean,
like, if you didn't think that there was going to be lesbian scissoring in this, you're wrong.
It has everything. Yeah. So she says that Cheryl jumped right on Rick and seduced him and love bombed him.
Oh, she jumped right on him, all right.
And Rick says, I mean, she was nice looking, and we was together making love. I would have visions. There was like weird stuff going on. She's something. I was like, I think she gave you some Molly.
Not Cheryl with the enlightened vagina was my note.
I think she gave him some Molly when he was.
I don't know, or did something. He was like, I was having visions. She had that, like, she was given the poon that was like not like, she was like bringing him into another dimension. And that is like, I have to tip the hat there with her for that. I will tip my hat to her many times, even though she's a monster.
Yeah.
I tip my hat to her with like, when she needed to lock it down physically, she was locking it down physically. You know what I mean? When she was like, I need to have you, spoiler alert, try to murder my husband. Like, she was ready to do that with physical sex.
And she just wasn't that good looking that she should be pulling men, women of all ages and sexes.
But we're in like upstate Washington. Like, remember where she isn't like walking down Fifth Avenue. You know what I'm saying? Also,
the voice. We already played it. It's terrible.
I know, but that her body though. I feel she was up to stuff.
Definitely.
And she was like. It's just so funny because it's supposed to be like she's supposed to be like a woman of God, and she's like, I'm doing splits left, right, and center when I need to. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean. Any
hole, anytime. Let's go. So I'm sorry.
She's like, I will give you roadhead. Like when you know what I mean? That means that like Jesus, like if the Lord moves me to give you roadhead, he gives me. Yeah, that's what happens.
And God said it.
Yeah.
As long as you're going to kill my ex-husband. So he says, Rick says, everybody was walking around the church saying Mark was going to die and that I was the new spiritual father. Now, this reminded me of Mother God and Father God.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so now we've got a new Mother God, Father God situation. Now, Mark was supposed to die, but he never did. And that was really bugging her. So this is what he said. He said it was really bugging her. He was supposed to die, but he didn't.
I'm laughing because that is exactly what he says.
Yeah, it was bugging. He didn't die. So she just pounded into his head. Mark has to go. And then she thought, you know what we should do? We should go out and shoot your AR-15s. And let me see about your shooting skills. How far could you get that one from? 20 feet, 100 feet?
This is like, remember in like Wild Wild Country, whenever like Sheila was like making them all do target practice? That's what this was.
Sheila was chopping up beavers and putting them in the water.
Dude,
system.
I fucking love legend. Monster, but legend.
We need part 3. We need
when
part 3.
When they would like interview, when it was her being interviewed and she was in that little cute little vest and she had like a pistol. She looked like a reject from like How the West Was Hung or whatever. And then she was like, I have 17 Rolls Royces and I'll have 17 fucking more. Like, what the fuck do you want to say about it? Like, shit, legend.
And then when they did the part 2 and she's like caring for old people in the nursing home, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Did you see part 2?
Wait, no, where is part 2?
There's a whole documentary just about Sheila. After she got out of jail. It was a couple of years ago. I think it was Netflix.
It's on Netflix?
That's why I said there's got to be a part 3 because they did a whole part 2 about Sheila.
Oh, I need to. How did I not know about this?
I don't know. I feel like you're going to slam the computer and run away. I
No,
mean, it's
I like,
okay.
we have to go. Wait, hold on. Sheila documentary.
Yeah, documentary about Ma'anan Sheila. Yeah, and she's like lives in Switzerland and takes care of old people, which is scary.
I thought this was fake.
No,
When
it's
this came
real.
out, I thought it was fake.
Mm-mm.
Oh
No,
my
it's
God.
yeah,
How
yeah.
did this not go? Okay, every person that knows me is on a list because how did this not come across my desk in some way? How did no one ask me to review this with them on a podcast?
I don't know, but we can start if you can watch it, and you can certainly come back and we can do it.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
now I'm writing that down under
Write that
Parker
down.
Posey. I'm writing down
When
Sheila
I tell you that, like, the
Chris
couch
DeRosa.
with the TV is within 5 feet from me, and that I will be throwing my body there and like watching it like immediately when this is
Okay,
over.
good. All right, good. So, okay, now Mary. Now here's where the production value comes in. Okay,
Yeah.
because Mary, wife Mary, not cat lady Mary, is standing in front of this house, and she's like, "Here's the house
She's
where
like,
Mark and
and then he
where."
looked up in his sights. Yeah.
She said, "Mark and I lived here for 10 years."
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh gosh, what
You're like, damn it, here we go. Yeah, like where's his gravestone in the backyard? Yeah,
exactly?" And
yeah.
she says, "Cheryl and Mark came here a few times. They were like trying to figure out the layout of the house and the length of the driveway. And one day, Rick came to, sorry, I was meant to say Cheryl and Rick. So, and one day Rick came to the top of the driveway and leveled his shotgun sight at Mark. Camera pulls back. There's Mark. He didn't die."
I wrote all capitals. Okay, this reveal of Mark, I'm screaming! 85 exclamation points.
It was really
It
good
was
production.
good. It was great.
It was good.
It was good. They really planned that clearly. They were like, we're gonna really get him with this, but
Yeah. And it
and
worked.
that and that's like an ID. That's like an investigation discovery note that probably was going into it. Was like, how do we do reveals?
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
that was from the network. As someone who has worked on an investigation discovery show, like they love that kind of stuff. But so, P.S. Same, and it was good. I was like, oh, I thought Mark was dead. I
Yeah,
was like, oh, I thought
totally.
Mark was dead. And then it was good because then you get to have him talk and it creates mystery at the beginning rather than just him
Mhm.
telling you the facts and you being like, okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so then
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get to like get these facts that you really want. Like the way they tell the story, it is like, I don't want to say distrustful. That's not what it is because it's not like but you're like shrouded in mystery, and then that mystery is dissipated by him existing. Do you know what I mean? And then telling you that it gives you stakes that didn't exist.
I
Which is
agree.
smart.
It was good.
Yeah.
And I also got to say, Mark is one of those guys who's definitely gotten 100 times better looking as he's gotten older.
Okay. I'm sorry to say this. Wait, where's my note about this?
Oh, you have a note about Mark's look?
I said, why am I attracted to the old photos of Mark with the big mustache?
See, well,
Again, that is a question, but that is a note that I have.
I have a real hatred of mustaches in general.
Oh, I feel like I have a love of them. So
I know. Well, a lot of guys do, but not for me. I don't like it at all. I remember one time John Hill was posting a lot of pictures with his mustache, and he had to like post a follow up to say this mustache is not for you, ladies. So quit telling me you don't.
Sure.
So Rick had a God moment. God came to him, told him not to do this, and he didn't shoot Mark. Rick says he can now see Rick from the grave or from wherever he's calling from. Says
I don't know. Is he dead? Is he dead at the end? We don't know. Anyway, continue.
He was manipulated, and the men in the church have no balls. But she could tell he was different. But he thinks God stopped him from killing Mark, and Mark never even knew about this. Rick gets home, tells Cheryl about how God told him. If he basically was like, if you're so great, and God told me to kill Mark, or then why did God tell me you're crazy and I shouldn't kill Mark? And Cheryl kicks him out. So they get divorced.
Well, you know what's so funny is like I love all these like charlatan preachers when they're like, God told me this, and then I can just say, well, God told me this, and they're like, no. Do you know what I mean? It's like they get to. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I think is so funny is like when you use their own tactics on them.
Yeah,
like
right.
Like when people like if you're like walking down the street. Okay, in New York this happens a lot, but like you're walking down the street and someone's like, have you accepted like Jesus, our savior, into your heart?
Right.
I turn without fail. It makes them go fucking crazy. I turn to them and I say, I have a beautiful relationship with the Lord. And they are like, you know, and they like don't know what to say, and
Yeah.
because it's like it's their thing to wield over themselves,
Yeah. Okay.
like over to other people. They that's a power that they've anointed themselves with to
Mhm.
wield over others. And when you unseat them of that power, they like don't know what to do. And then they're like, but wait, I don't think that you have that. And it's like, well, that's actually none of your business.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like,
Yes.
so it makes me laugh so hard that it's like when one of these people that's like, oh, God talks directly to God hasn't talked to anyone in 2000 years, but he talked directly to me.
Right.
And he
Uh-huh.
said
Yeah.
this. And then you're like, okay, well, same. And they're like, what?
It's sort of like why don't these 200 people think, wow, if she's so powerful and she's God is funneling through her, how come more people don't know about it?
Why? And also, why isn't Mark dead if she's so powerful?
I think that a lot about certain like face creams and things that I buy. I'll go, if this is so great that everybody says it's so great, how come everybody doesn't talk about it?
And that it's not like, yeah, correct.
It's a face cream, God, same thing. All right.
Yeah.
So we meet Mark.
Also, wait, really quickly.
Yeah.
My last note before we get to the next section, I wrote, imagine having someone convince you to kill another person.
that
Like, just imagine that being what's happening to you.
I can't it's a long, long stretch. It would have to be a severe domestic abuse situation where it's like Earl had to die like that. It would have to
Not, yeah,
be
not like my
mm,
husband, my ex-husband is just living his life elsewhere, not bothering me, and I want him
mm.
dead. You know what I mean?
And I'm also married to you now.
Yeah, yeah, but like none of
But
that matters because I'm
yeah,
blinded by rage that my husband is walking this earth.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we meet Mark. Mark tells us he's the father of three children in a cult, and his ex-wife is the leader of that cult. He didn't know she was going around telling everyone he was the devil and that he was going to die. His own children were saying it, and his own children were thinking of ways to kill him. And then he says a line that is iconic. He says, I don't want to believe my kids are evil, but they might be.
I mean,
But it's not their fault.
I must agree. I have to be on Mark's side here.
Yeah. And Mark is cute. So he tells us all about how he met Cheryl. They had kids. They got, they tried to stay married and make it work because, they were raised very conservative and you just like don't get divorced.
Sure.
And he says, Cheryl really wasn't so much into church until she found the Gates of Praise. Now, in the Gates of Praise, they had a leader named Debbie who just looks exactly like Cheryl.
No,
They were
carbon. It's the same person. I was like, that's Cheryl. And I was like, oh no, that's this Debbie woman. Yeah.
they were speaking in tongues. So here we go.
Yeah.
Are you scared? I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm terrified.
It's just like this is the other thing too, is that they're like everything is the devil. To these people, I have had a little bit of experience with Pentecostal situation. I'll just tell you that much. And like
how
someone in my family like was
part
of a church like this, and it was
Okay.
like I was like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? And so
okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Everything is the devil, and like the devil and the demons are like lurking around all corners. But I'm like, what's the most devilish and demon possessed thing I've ever heard is what you just played right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, guess what sounds like a demon? That
sounds like something that would be in a C-level horror movie.
Like D level.
Yeah, it's like you're like, oh, and it's like a dog walking backwards, or something like, yeah, and like speaking in tongues, but like backwards,
A dog walking backwards. That's so funny. That's speaking in tongues is all you needed to hear, and then you're like, all right, we're off the deep end.
So Debbie, she was very into the leader, Debbie. Mark says he doesn't know what was happening there. It seemed intimate. And now we know that Cheryl will go where the wind blows, any hole, anytime.
Any hole, anytime, like any person, anytime, like any,
right.
Left, right, center, other,
he had he had a feeling about it, and he was right.
Yeah, sure,
and
sure.
Debbie made Cheryl the associate pastor. She loved the attention, she loved the power, but then she split off from Debbie and established her own church in 2001. And he goes, this made no sense. She never even went to church. She obviously has no training. And now she started her own church. And he's like, my wife is crazy,
Yeah. Well, and like, it's just power. Like, she's like, oh, I can like wield power over other people by doing this. Perfect. Great. I learned everything I needed to do. And now I'm second in command and not first. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. So Mary, and now we meet Connie, who is another parishioner, and they say she's charismatic. She has this knack for reading people, and it was a place you wanted to go because you felt accepted. I was like, it sounded like it was a lot of threats, but they studied different religions and they discussed the end times a lot. Um, Mark says, I didn't want to leave my children, but I had to divorce her because, this was going off the
Yeah,
rails. And
he's like, yeah. And he's like, and my wife is like banging all these women for no reason at all.
and whoever would whoever she could get control over. And he says, she accused me of pushing her down the stairs, which I didn't do. And then we hear Beth. Beth says, no charges were ever filed against Mark.
Yeah. And Beth was like, okay, this act, I check, I talked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I get my 25,000 for this act of this
Yes,
show, of this
that's
episode.
it.
Check. Yeah.
That's all she said. And so he says he just wanted to love his kids and be a dad. But Cheryl was telling his children to pray for his death and help think of ways to kill him at the dinner table.
I mean, no, it's really bad. Like, and like, imagine, like, again, if this was us, if Hassan was like, let's think about ways that we can kill like X person, I would be like, yeah, sure. Hold on. Let me just go in the other room. And I would like run in the other room, pack a bag and like run out of my house screaming. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and maybe tell the police
and like call 911 and be like, come get me right now. Like,
it's crazy.
Like, you wouldn't be like, yeah, what? Like, it's just so fucking crazy.
It's nuts. And that it's just like normal dinner time talk. So now we meet a Canadian named Rod. Rod, it says Rod was, this is Rod. Okay. So I was thinking that it was the guy that she was banging. No, this is Rod. Rod was married to the cult member. His wife started going to Freedom Fire Ministries on the Sundays. He couldn't go to their regular church. And once he said, yeah, I'll go to your church. I'll try it. He says her demeanor changed on me. Like she was super in love with me again. Poor Rod. Poor Rod. And we get lots of clips of hearing her going, come on, people. And he said that was her thing to go, okay, people. She's Kelly Dodd.
I wrote these slow-mo videos of Cheryl preaching are absolutely incredible.
And we don't get tons of her voice, but every time we do, I was like, oh my God, she sounds like Kermit the Frog. And like, why are people like, whoa, her voice?
Hair, her weird outfits, like, her outfits are like a 90s fever dream that I want to never wake up from. Like she is just so it's just I get it. Like there's a part of me that I get it because she is like an SNL character. Do you know what I mean? Like she's Target lady meets someone else. You know what I mean? Remember the Vancombe lady from like Mad TV? Like she's Target lady meets Vancombe lady as a person.
The Target lady is a good call because it's the same kind of voice. Look at that.
Yeah.
And you're like,
and like what? Weird hair and like weird body. You know what I mean? That, but like with like crazy.
Like this, like
Kelly Dodd as the Target lady is this woman. You know what I mean? Mixed with someone else. You know,
nailed it. Don't want to give Kelly Dodd too much attention. Okay. So Rod tells about she got a pitcher of water and like poured a whole thing of salt into it and made everybody come up. And he goes, I just had a Jim Jones vision about my kids having to drink like cyanide Kool-Aid. And I was like, I don't want to.
Well, that's the other thing is that it's like all these things are tests. As someone who's watched so many cult things.
Yes. Yeah.
Like these are all just like tests of like, will you do this if I tell you to? And then they're all like, sure, we drink salt water. And that's like, yes, you want to like teach us something about something because of this. It's like, yeah, salt water's not, what harm? It's gross, but like what harm is this? Nothing. And so it's like it's just constantly pushing the boundaries of like, can I get you to do this?
Yeah.
Can I get you to do this? Can I get you to do this? And the people that are like, no, why would I drink this salt water? They're definitely gonna have a problem when she's like adopt 20 cats. So
and also, can you kill my husband?
Yeah, and like, do you have a gun? Can you shoot it? Do you know this address 123 Sesame Street? Like whatever the fuck. Like, can you go murder someone there? Yeah, you can or not. 123 let us
Sesame
know.
Street.
Yeah.
So now we get back to Cat Lady Mary, and she explains that she was, born in a really Christian home, and she always felt she had to try to hide her true self. She knew when she was young she was gay. She was always like on her knees trying to pray the gay away, which was very sad. And I always hate to hear that.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm glad that she like to see where Mary is now. I'm happy. I'm very happy. Like I'm feel like she's good and I feel she's safe and I'm happy for her.
And I think she has just one cat.
Yeah,
which is
which is an appropriate number of cats.
1 to 2 cats is appropriate.
Yeah.
So at age 27, which was in 2004, she started attending Cheryl's church, and so did her sister. Mary says, I'm a piano player, and I think you have to like use, God's gifts to, what they're for. And she was enamored by Cheryl, as Chris DeRosa is as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And kind of was falling in love with her. So one night, Cheryl had Cat Lady Mary come to her church and say, like, we have to kneel at the altar, normal on a Tuesday. Just come to church. We're going to turn all the lights off and kneel at the altar, like nothing weird, nothing to see here. And Cheryl said to her, it's time for us to be in a covenant. And to be in the covenant, we have to kiss. And Cheryl said, I'm trying to explain something to you. This is not homosexuality. She preaches against homosexuality. And then Mary says, but yeah, we were banging.
I
loved it.
My note is, I have multiple notes. My first one is religion is a weapon that people wield for power. Okay. Just simply had to throw that in there. Just,
okay.
Not that we haven't said that every sentence that we've talked about so far, but yes. And I said, why do all these people sexually abuse their followers?
Power.
That is like textbook sexual abuse. Textbook. Yeah.
And this poor girl would like knew her whole life she was gay and was trying to pray the gay
struggling,
and then Cheryl like manipulated it. Yeah.
And is being like, this isn't gay, but we're gonna fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that's even worse. Not even like, just like, it's fine, don't worry, wink. You know what I mean? She's like, this actually isn't affirming you, but like, I will have sex with you. That is diabolical.
And then preaching about how bad homosexuality is,
correct.
But yet, like she said, but yeah, we were banging.
And again, uses this as like, again, I don't even think she likes women. I think she used this as like, I can wield my power. I can use this to control you, which was true.
Yeah.
And this is the thing with these like leader, again, like you brought up Keith Raniere in the volleyball games. It's like when they shine their light on you, you like come alive. You know what I mean? Like that's what all these people, it's like, oh my God, you got to like, he talked to you.
Yeah.
He got to say this thing to you. Meanwhile, who the fuck is this person?
Right, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like when you, again, at Catholic Church, when we leave, the priest stands at the door and is like, bye everyone. And like, you get to talk to him if you want to go up and say, thank you, great sermon, Father. You know what I mean? Like he's a person just like you are, and you walk up to him and talk, and it's you're a person and he's a person. This like super church shit that's like where they're like a celebrity amongst like peon losers is like so gross to me.
I'm with you. Okay. So Mary says, I think Cheryl was just using me for my piano playing. Because then she could have like a musical element to her church.
Because then she can get on the mic and start singing. Yeah, which is true. She's like, next I'm going to do a rendition of Our God is an Awesome God. Like, like me. Yeah.
Does anybody play guitar? So, so she believed if she left Cheryl in the church, she would die. She literally believed if she left, God would strike her dead. Okay. Now we meet Sunjin. Now, Sunjin was just a blip in this show, but I needed more. I need more Sunjin. He met Cheryl on
I don't even remember him.
This guy, he met Cheryl on Spiritual Singles.
Oh, this might have been a bathroom break for me. I don't even remember him.
He lives in Asheville. She had this small church. She looked good in lingerie, is what he says.
Oh, brother.
And he says the relationship was mostly with Cheryl. It had to be compliance. And if you didn't comply, it went downhill. This is what she said. She didn't like his artwork. He had art all over his house.
Oh, okay. I remember this guy.
Do you remember this guy?
Yes. And it was like, you have to burn all the art. Yeah.
He had to burn a couple of his nude art paintings because she didn't like them. He said it was $50,000 worth of art that he burned for her.
Also, just
and then he goes, and then I realized, like, what am I doing? I was like, I wish you would have realized that before you burned all the art.
No, she's got that magic poon. She's like,
I think so.
She's doing shit that you ain't never seen. You know what I mean? And blowing people's hair back, like literally and figuratively. And then they're like, I'll do whatever you want. You know what I mean? She's like up to stuff.
Yeah. And I don't know. All right. So now she's pushing her congregation to new and strange places. She's trying Catholic mysticism. She's doing Wiccan stuff. And now it's time to start adopting cats. Okay.
Well, I like how she's just like, let's try this. Like she's supposed to be like speaking directly to God. And she's like, let's just like try this hat on today and we'll see what happens. Like that's never like,
we're going to the forest today.
As a follower is like not like of a church of the, like, here's what our religion is today. Like that's never what I want to, that makes me feel unsafe. Right? No.
Yes. Right. Yes,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like,
It's not one thing. It's like, this week we're Wiccans, next week Kabbalah. So they
yeah,
start,
next, like the week after Hinduism, like, you know what I mean? She's
yeah.
like, there is 900 gods. Like, who knows? You know, like,
So the message is with the cats is that they are God, all of them. And if you save the cats, you will be saved. And so now they've created a cage-free shelter for cats called Eva's Eden. Now it looks like they have like a traveling like food truck type of thing with the cats where you can go in like a cat cafe.
yeah, they have, this is real. Like, if they do, like, shelters do this a lot. I've filmed stuff before where, like, you have, who has one of these? Rachel Ray has one of these where it's like a dog rescue thing, and
Okay.
basically, like, they'll go to kill shelters and they'll get all of the
Dogs on
dogs
the
that are like
list.
on the list to be euthanized, and they'll take
Oh,
them, and it's like a big bus, and then they brings them places, and they can either bring it to somewhere where then you can adopt the dog. It's like a mobile shelter, basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I like the idea of this. They're rescuing the cats
Yeah.
and they're taking care of them and they're getting them, healthy. And all of this I like because they're saving these cats. So they would take cats on the rosters to be put down. And Connie explains, now Connie, we're getting more Connie now. Connie says people would literally be required to leave their jobs in the middle of the day to come and get your chosen cats. And the cats are to be the number one priority above your spouse, above your children, above everything.
Yeah.
And it was a
Like,
competition.
leave your job in the middle of the day, which
Who
again is
could,
about control.
yeah.
Well, here, let's break it down really quick.
Okay.
If they start this shelter, then she can run all of the money that she's scamming from these people through that business and clean the money, right?
That's what she's doing here.
That's
Yeah.
100% what it is. And I don't feel like they
Ooh.
talked enough about that, and that's like clearly what it was. Like, I'm an idiot and I knew this,
Financial crimes. Yes, yes,
like,
yes.
she's able to, and not that she has to clean the money because it's donate, but like, she can like have all the money recorded through this business and make it look real. That,
Yeah,
like, people are doing donations to this, like, probably 501(c)(3. I'm sure it
I'm
was.
sure.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, that it was a
Nonprofit.
charity, a nonprofit. And so she's running all the money through this business. But then what she's doing on the back end with the followers is that it's like, no, this is actually a religious thing where, like, you have to, and I must tip the hat to her that she, like, makes them all buy the cats from, like, they were all free, but she made them pay money for the cats and was like, you need 20 cats and they each cost $75. And then
Uh-huh.
and then she went to Costco and bought like a pallet of cat food, and then was like, okay, you have to pay $10 a doggy bag, a Ziploc bag of cat
Yep.
food from me.
Uh-huh.
And she
Yep.
bought the whole thing for like $100. So she's
Yeah.
making like 60, probably like what, $4,000 off of the cat food. Do you know what I mean?
It's crazy. It's crazy. You have to
It's
take these cats.
fucking smart, is what it is, honestly.
And these people,
It's horrible and horrifying, but like, it's for a scam, it's really fucking smart. You know what
it's
I
a
mean?
really good
Especially,
scam, and she's
yeah,
still doing it apparently. And
yeah,
if you said no to the cats, she would publicly humiliate you or exile you from the church. And Connie was like, if you said no to the cats and she exiles you from the church, people would then lose their jobs, lose their housing. She just had connections to make this all happen. And basically, the cats were vessels that were going to be turning into humans. So Connie says, she went from being a woman of God to a nutcase.
yeah. Well,
Connie,
yeah,
great. Connie tells her husband, Ricky, it's another, see, we got two Ricks, we got two Marys. She tells Ricky, we got to get out. We got to get out of this cult. And Connie told her friend and confided in her friend, I really think it's time to go out of this cult. And by the time she got back to her house, Cheryl was at her house because her friend had ratted her out. Very
yeah.
Scientology,
Very
telling each other.
well, not for nothing. The cats is like the Sea Org. These people go on this boat and
Yeah.
like are working, scrubbing with toothbrushes all day. You know what I mean? Of where to imagine, but like, that's what this is. Like, I wrote, this is all just a distraction to keep these people working so they don't notice that they're being controlled.
Yeah, it's so yeah. So Cheryl told her, you're not leaving the church. You have to get permission, and I don't give you permission. So Connie's like, okay.
Yeah, and,
Um,
and again, they're like, all right, I guess I'm stuck. You know what I mean? It's like,
and like, okay, I guess this is
you're
where
like,
we live now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I wrote, the fact that this turned into Tiger King is wild.
Uh, so Mark says, he finally came to the realization that like he's never going to see his kids again. His kids are in this cult. And Mark told Mary, if you ever see Cheryl or if you ever see one of the children, call 911 and run because they're here to kill us. his own children. Um, Now, Cat Lady Mary says she is sort of realizing she's in a cult, and it's because Cheryl had closed the doors. It was now a closed secret religion, and the cat rescue was the front they were hiding behind. So Mary's getting hip to the fact that all this money is,
Yeah.
and then she says, imagine the stress one cat would feel being around 30 cats. So what they do, of course, is destroy your home, pee all over the walls. It's stressful for the cats. It's not
Again,
fair.
in hoarders, you would find a cat under like a flattened like a pancake underneath like all these like
Yeah.
newspaper. Do you know what I mean? It's like this is like hoarders level where they're like living in the walls and like
So much
yeah.
B-roll of cat poop.
Yeah, no, I had to look away. That was a bathroom break for me too. I was like, okay, I have to like get out of this part of it.
I get it. So anyway, she says she felt that she and her sister felt the same way, but they were really like too afraid to even talk to each other about it for fear that like one would squeal on the other. Now, the ministry, all the people went to all see the Da Vinci Code. And after that, Cheryl declared she was Mary Magdalene.
Dead.
Because in the movie, Mary Magdalene is portrayed as the wife of Jesus and not a church whore. So now she's Mary Magdalene. Okay. She said now she started to cut her hand and drip her own blood into the communion cups. And she goes, I thought it was gross, but after the salt water wasn't so bad.
Yeah, no, exactly. No. And it's just so funny that it's like you all went and saw a movie together. And then she's like, oh yeah, like I'm also there. Like it's just so obvious.
Yeah. So, all right. So Rod, married to the former cult member, says his wife, used this big tax return they were waiting on to open a new bank account in just her name and gave it to the church. And now we meet who I think is the hero I also needed more of is Rod's sister, Carol.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Rod's sister Carol was on it. And because like, I can't believe your wife, is crazy and got you in this cult. Now we have Beth Karras again. And Beth Karras says the thing that Rod had that other people didn't is family that was looking after him.
Which is true.
See you later, Beth. So
yeah, the thing that Rod had that other people did, I love her voice. I could watch her read the phone book. Everything. And it's so, she's performing so much. It's the best thing ever.
I love her.
So
her husband was told by his wife, anyway, they have to turn their finances over to Cheryl. And the sister Carol is like, this is as bad as it gets. What? You got to turn your finances over to Cheryl?
Again, imagine someone saying to you, Mary Payne, I need all of your money. And you just going, oh, that really sucks. But like, I guess I have to. All right.
I can see my sister coming in like, now hold on a damn minute.
Yeah.
So Rod says he got home from work on a Monday and the house was empty. And one of the kids' rooms had a bunch of goodbye cards that they had written him.
This was really sad. This was like,
say goodbye to Dad.
Yeah. And they're like, okay.
He had found out his wife had been plotting this for quite a while. Well, Carol, the sister, is not fucking around. She'd kept a folder of research.
Carol was the one she had like blonde hair, black shirt. Yeah. Loved her. She was like these idiots. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Carol looks like she'd been hitting it hard the night before.
No, sure. Of course.
Filming.
Same, by the way. Yeah.
But
no, a queen is what she was. She didn't care. She was like, I'm not here to look pretty. Who am I, Cheryl? No, I'm not here to look pretty. I'm here to like give you the facts. And she did. And she was the one that made the most sense of anyone.
She had her folder of research.
Obsessed.
She gave it to Rod and said, go to court, get your children back. And so the judge saw all of it and decided Cheryl and the church posed a clear and present danger to these children.
Yeah, the judge read one sentence of this and was like, this woman is a fucking charlatan. What kind of space cadet, like 3-ring circus are we running here? And was like, you're whatever you need to do, here it is. Like gave him a blank check basically to like put his wife in jail basically.
And he was
really,
like,
but like,
he was like, thank you, Carol, for your folder. And do you need a job? Because you're great.
Yeah. Again, anyone with sense, like a judge, is like, what the fuck is this? No, this is a cult. Get your kids out of this.
Get your kids out. So he got sole custody of the kids. So now, but they didn't know where they were. So finally, somehow, the ex-wife, gets word of this and calls and says, okay, you can have the kids back. But for 6 months, she says she will go to counseling and go back to the regular church with him. And he's like, this is amazing. She says she's left Freedom Fire. She wants to get back together. What was she thinking? They went to court. They decided they're not going to get divorced. They're going to keep the family together. And yeah, the kids can go ahead and put your like apartment address on there while we look for a new house together. That's amazing. But then the wife's like, sorry, sucker. I've been with Cheryl the whole time. And now I have status quo because the kids live with me. And she tricked him. And and now he's like out of money with lawyers. And so he can't get his kids back. 6 months. She played a long con on him.
Yeah, no, they're in this deep with Cheryl.
Yeah. So
meanwhile, Cheryl's probably going downtown Julie Brown on this woman.
Oh, you know she has shown her things. She's seen visions.
Yeah.
Visions.
Oh, yeah. She's seen visions. All right.
All right. So now we get back to cute ex-husband Mark of Mark and Cheryl. And he's like, she always overspent. She always, wanted to spend more than we had.
Who amongst? That's the biggest who amongst I've ever. Yeah.
I was like, okay, I feel judged by Mark.
Yeah,
but
no, it's fine.
Mark says, in our divorce, I gave her $750,000 in addition to, of course, paying for the children. But even though she preached from the pulpit that I'd given her nothing, that wasn't true.
Yeah.
Mary Lancaster.
Which is like so much money. Like,
plus it was like 2001.
And they live in like the middle of, it's not like they live in Manhattan. They live in like rural Washington. It's like she could buy like a mansion for like a fourth of that money.
I know.
And like live off that money for years and years. Yeah.
Mary Lancaster said that she cashed out something that was like a 401k, but it was a different thing. I didn't know what it was. But and she gave her $50,000. Connie says, Connie's the other follower. Connie says Cheryl has millions, but she wanted everybody's money. Now, Connie says, in 2009, we adopted our 6th child. And if you adopt a child with special needs, you get like a refund for the government. I was like, Connie, don't say any of this out loud. It sounds like you're running a scam.
Yeah, it does. It sounds bad.
And they got $28,000 and they gave Cheryl $6,000 of it. Cheryl was getting, and this goes into the whole thing you said, getting the cats for free and then charging and all this.
Yeah.
And they later found out all their money was going to plastic surgery.
Yeah, because Cheryl she has to lure him in somehow. She can't, you know what I mean? Her breasts are dropping. Mary
Magdalene can't look like shit.
No, she has to her body has to be, is going to be reeling him in like a freaking like wicked tuna. So she has to she needs upkeep, guys.
You just called Cheryl wicked tuna.
I was just thinking like a deep sea fishing, like reeling.
I know, but it was it was real on the nose. Okay. Yeah. So, oh God, that was funny. Okay. So Connie says, my husband, Ricky, and I felt like Cheryl was trying to separate us. And, I got to say, this is terrible, but my father-in-law got Alzheimer's and we were grateful because we had a reason to go visit him and leave and we escaped.
Oh no. Yep. God can't do this. Gotta go. You know what I mean? Yeah.
They escaped to go see the Alzheimer's father-in-law.
It's so sad.
Now we meet Faith. This is Connie's daughter, which leads me to believe Connie's children's names are like Faith, Hope, Joy, and Love.
Sure, of course.
And she got adopted at age 6 by Connie. They left Washington State at age 12. And Connie talks about the danger they were in. And she's like, I just want to tell you, Faith, like, I'm sorry that we were in that cult. Why are they having this conversation lighting candles in a church?
No, I didn't like that. I was like going to write that down and I didn't even do it. But it's like, why? I don't like when on a thing like this, I don't like whenever they like stage a scene. You know what I mean?
It's like, why did they go to a church
so staged where it's like they could just be in an interview together and like be like talking in the interview chairs together. That to me, like it broke me out of like the like world that I was in.
Yeah, because I was like, are they?
And they already were putting them in these like weird ass like wannabe church backgrounds, you know what I mean, that I like had to really look aside from and really just like zone out that it was like the most heavy-handed like, look, they're religious background, but like then have that be like a real life place that they're in, I didn't like it either.
So in 2013, Mark says he tried to call his daughter Olivia on her 18th birthday and couldn't get in touch with her. And then he couldn't get in touch with Cheryl. He couldn't get in touch with his sons. So went over to the house. Everything was gone. The minute Olivia turned 18, packed the whole family up and went to Tennessee. She
Because
was
they can't, because they can, right? Because once they're all adults, it's not
yeah,
kidnapping, right?
yeah. The kids were told to lie to their dad. Mark called the high school and they said, "Oh yeah, it was so great that she graduated early." So he knew at that point, I'm never going to see my children again.
It's so sad.
Beth Kara says everything showed she'd been planning it for years. Okay. Now
But moving on. Yeah, moving, like truly
that's it.
moving right along. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So the whole congregation has to pack up and move. The whole congregation has to move. So they were
I
told to not to. This is a very, very, very Keith Raniere. Like, guess what? We
yeah.
all live in Mexico now.
Yeah. Because I'm fleeing.
Yeah, I'm fleeing. So
Yeah.
they were told, I'm trying to like put my hand over my mouth when I swallow. So I don't like swallow in the microphone, but I get so excited that I lean forward. So, all right, they were told, don't tell anybody you're moving because of the church. Lady Mary says, I caravanned with a bunch of other people, and in the caravan was cats, chickens, guns, and gold. What?
Sounds like a fun time to me. I'm not gonna lie.
She said she was in turmoil because she was lying to her parents. She had to lie to her job while she was leaving. She knew she needed to get out there, but she felt like she was groomed and brainwashed. So Mark says he found them because in Tennessee or wherever she was, they bought a huge property and she bought a horse with
No,
$1 million in cash.
I saw red whenever they were like, and then she bought a horse. I was like, what?
A horse. They already got the chickens and the cats.
For what? For what?
Because maybe she's trying to figure out the next scam. Like,
Yeah,
how expensive
like,
is it to keep a horse?
Equine therapy. You have to pay me to like come and like do upkeep on my horse, which is expensive, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, anytime you see anybody on a reality show that has a horse, you're like, rich.
Yeah.
So he called the local sheriff and said, I just want a welfare check on my adult children. The sheriff goes out there, gets Cheryl, somehow dickmatizes this guy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she was like, just give me a minute, drops to her knees. Sheriff loves her.
Yeah, sure.
And Cheryl said,
100% that happened. Like, I would bet everything on it. Like, she was like, answered in like a negligee with like the think of like the like see-through negligee that has like the long like ostrich feathers all over it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the like what you would think is like a parody of like what she would be.
Speaking of Sonia Morgan, that's the shit she would wear
100%.
Yes.
And she was like, "Hello, officer," like twirling her hair. Yeah.
She's like, "Do you like horses? I like to ride."
Yeah, I like to ride.
Yeah. So, Rod's sister Carol. Sorry.
But I will say that no, who was it? Mark said, like, I called a wellness check like on my adult children.
Yeah.
And instead of talking to them, they talked to their mother, who is an adult, like who's I don't like them. Yes. That is like, I don't actually like, they should be like, no, ma'am, like step aside. Like, I'm here to speak to this person that lives here. Where are they? You know what I mean? Not letting her fillet them into submission, which is what happened. But
so our hero, Carol, Rod's sister, says, listen, I think the sheriff got a load of her voluptuous top end and believed what she said. Then she takes a beat and she goes, listen.
He had a mouthful is what he had.
She said they were bowling balls in a tight sweater. And then I was like, well, now I need to see these tatas.
If we got a drink with Carol, we would like we would all be Karen Huger. We would be like, we would be drunk as a skunk, and we'd be falling out of there calling an Uber. Like, we would have the best time with her.
That's the difference between us and Karen Huger. We would,
you know what I mean? We would call an Uber. Yeah. But like, we would be three pigs in shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, she seems like a good time girl in the best way.
Carol,
they're two bowling balls and a tot sweater. Like,
I was like, well, now I need to see the bowling balls and the tot sweater. Show us.
I know. I'm upset that we have no photos of her other than those same videos of like her preaching.
Yeah, with the no neck.
Like, she doesn't, but she's underground, right? She knows, like, she's like,
well,
because everything's in secret. But I'm saying everything's in secret, so it's like she doesn't have an Instagram that she's like putting like slutty pictures on.
No, but I wish.
Which is what I wish that's what she had.
Want, yeah. Now Rod's ex-wife, the cult member, said, so Rod's ex-wife could not move to Tennessee due to a court order, but she could follow from afar. She could follow the cult from Washington or wherever. So Rod was worried, like, she's going to pick up with these kids and leave at any time to go to Tennessee. And he says, they're like, okay, well, how's it going now? And he goes, sadly, today, my ex-wife and my children, who he has not seen, are under Cheryl's control. And why does Cheryl want the kids? By the way, why does she want them under her control? You know, well,
I don't know.
I don't either, because she's not into the kids. She's into the adults. Maybe she.
But the
All right.
kids are a way to like, I don't
Control the
know.
parent.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know. That doesn't make any sense though.
Because wouldn't she just love
That's a
to like
good-
get rid of the kids, get them back to the other parent?
Yeah, if anything, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But also those people then are like indoctrinated into the thing. Like they're
new members because they're
kids, so they're like malleable. Like you don't have to get, she doesn't have to like drop to her knees for the kids. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. They'll just do
children, so they'll just do whatever you say. Because they're like, this is my adult parent telling me to do this, so I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
So Cat Lady Mary says, she moves to Tennessee. She struggles to find a job and housing because she has 14 cats. Yeah. She meets a lady friend, a fellow musician who says, listen, just move in with me, bring your 14 cats. I'll help you. We'll make it work. And she says that was her awakening. She came out to her sister and she says, listen, to her sister, not only, and I'm telling you, a lesbian, I'm moving in with this girl, but I had an intimate relationship with Cheryl and I'm leaving the church.
Yeah.
So she and her sister come to this revelation, all the terrible things Cheryl did, and her sister leaves the church too.
What does her sister say Cheryl did? Because the sister was like, oh yeah, Cheryl did X, Y, and Z to me or something. I remember it being like, it wasn't just me that had like horrible stories with Cheryl or something.
Maybe I went to the bathroom. I didn't hear that.
I don't know. No, it was something like the sister also shared that like but like we don't know what it is, but like she was like, I mean, Cheryl might have been like, you're a bitch or like whatever, been like, adopt more cats and like had people show up. Like it could have, I don't think that it was like sexual, but like everyone has like a story of like Cheryl abusing them in some way.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So Mary says, I told Cheryl I'm leaving the church. So she starts love bombing me. And, she says with me, she wasn't nasty and vindictive, but the next day, the muscle guy, the strong man called and said, delete everything you have regarding the church. And she goes, and I did. And she was like, I mean, why? They wouldn't have known. I don't know why I did, but that was like the last, so she doesn't have all the evidence that like Rod's sister Carol has in her folder.
That sucks.
So in 2014, Mary and Mark find out about the hit that was put out on them. So Mary creates a Facebook group called Is There a Cult in Columbia, Tennessee?
I'm dying.
I was like, why
these people just nailed it. They're so messy. I love it. Like,
and then people came, she said she really just did it to make awareness, but people started coming to the Facebook group to tell their stories. And a journalist gets a hold of the story. And now Cheryl's getting real paranoid. So Sister Carol, Rod's sister Carol, looks up Cheryl one day and finds this podcast called The Opportunist. You guys, we're here to tell you everything comes back to podcasting.
Sure does.
And this podcast called The Opportunist, we hear about the ex-husband, Rick Madrid, trying to kill Mark. Here comes Beth. Beth says, they tried to find Rick Madrid after this, and we were surprised what we found. He had passed away. He had sleep apnea. The doctor said he died in his sleep. Coincidence? This is Beth.
But where are we finding? This is the thing, is like at the end of it, it was like, we can't confirm that he died.
There's no death notice, no obituary.
So it's like, is he dead? Or was that guy that told us that on the phone him?
That's what. Now
that's
listen, again, the production and the editing has made us think that he's dead that he's alive the whole time. He's walking through the field talking, but it wasn't him. It was him, but that person wasn't him. It was a recreation.
And so but like, I don't know if I think that he's dead or if he's laying low. Cause then when they call the person, whoever answers his phone is like, no, I know everything about him. It's like, how would you know everything? Who is that?
He's not here right now. What do you want to know? I'll tell him.
No,
but I won't tell him because he's dead. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? If you're like laying low, that's exactly what you say. No, he died.
But what we didn't do, which would have been smart, was compare the podcast voice to that voice on the phone, which I didn't.
I almost feel like they distorted the voice on purpose.
So we couldn't tell.
Like when I was listening, I was like, whose voice is this? And I was like, probably someone that's not consenting. And so they have to distort it.
Or what if it was like a recreation, oh, the production
Yeah, like
member
this is
will
what,
just
but
yeah,
I think they have to tell us
if it's a
if it's a
recreation.
recreation. Yeah, maybe
Mhm.
not though.
So,
But do you get what I'm
con
saying? Like legally,
yeah,
like in theory, if you call someone and then they don't consent, you can't just like call someone and record them and put it on national television.
right, right, right,
You
right.
have to like, so if that person
You have
doesn't
to sign it.
sign a release, like you
Yeah,
would have to do a bunch of things to distort their voice to make it be completely
then
unrecognizable so
right.
that like they can't be like, you used
And it would
my,
have to say underneath it, it would have to say, voice recreation. It would have to say, like, I
I
got the
think
PA to
maybe,
read
but
it.
maybe
Yeah.
not. But it's like that. But I remember it being like, hi, like sounding like the Norwal from Elf. You know what I mean? Like, bye, buddy. Like, it like
It
sounded
did
like that.
sound
So
a little like that.
but it's so that's what I think. I think it was like put through like a filter,
So, okay, all right.
like for the exact purpose for me and you to not be like, it sounded just like him. He's alive. Like,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
what we
yeah.
want to say. But I think that it was like distorted on purpose so that we couldn't do that. Because I bet you it's him. Because I think it is. I bet you he's alive and laying low.
I bet so too. Connie says, after that podcast, Rick had a mark on his back. And Mary, Cat Lady Mary goes, it's very suspicious that he died of unknown causes because Cheryl is capable of orchestrating someone's passing.
Yeah.
So now it's 2024, current times. And Mary, Mark's wife, finds out that Rick has passed away. And she was like, yeah, it's funny because we did turn out being friends with him. Okay, we were friends with our hitman, but they had something in common, which was this demon, or Mary Magdalene, whatever. So Beth Karras comes back on the scene and says, we have been told he died of sleep apnea, also of a brain aneurysm. Everyone thinks it's suspicious. Like, did she pay him off to leave? Why wouldn't she just kill him? Didn't she just kill people? Why would she pay him off?
Yeah, but you could pay him off and just be like, never come here again. And they'll be like, okay.
Okay, that's true. Here's
That's not illegal. You know what I mean? It's like she can't go to jail for that.
here's
That's just
16 cats and a horse. Never.
yeah,
So
and a good stipping before you leave, to
and
send you off.
just a
Yeah.
quick blowy.
Like, let me give you visions one more time before we.
So Mary of Mary and Mark wonders what happened. So she gets in her car. It'd be some real investigative journalism here. She gets in her car to go talk to Rick's nephew, Randy. So, but because of course his name is Randy,
Yeah,
and she's like, "Hide the camera! Hide the camera!" We get a black screen of death that says,
guess what's really like very obvious when you're screaming at someone in the passenger seat when you're pulling up to someone's house. Like,
she says Randy refused to have, the interview be recorded or whatever. So she gets back in the car and she's like, holy shit, oh my God. So she says, Rick had told Randy that Cheryl wanted to kill both of us and actually Mark's entire family. It's like his kids, his parents, everybody gonna die if Cheryl, had it up. So Mary says, Randy the nephew has also gotten a lot of different stories about Rick's death. Now, why can't Randy pull up a death certificate? He's a family member.
yeah.
Now they keep showing this dude walking through the field that we thought was Rick the whole time. Mary says, Cheryl is motivated by money, so you should follow the money. We know she's got these offshore accounts in Panama. And where is all that gold and silver and the chickens and the cats that she transported from Washington State to Tennessee? Present day, Mary, Cat Lady Mary says, I know Cheryl moved her whole operation from Columbia, Tennessee to Kentucky. This is again how it reminds me a little bit of Mother God because she was always having them move all over the followers.
Well, so that no one could ever be like, they would just like when they needed to burn it all down and move away, they could just do it. And
Yeah,
the gold, I'm just getting that the gold of it all, it's so that she doesn't have, because she doesn't have a bank account.
What are you
Like the
doing?
gold-
But Safeway to pay for your order in gold? I mean,
No, but like if you buy gold with your money, then you go resell it to someone else. And then you get your money back, and then you can do that off the books. Do you know what I'm saying? Rather than
that's like
I
a
need
money
to
laundering
transfer-
technique.
It's not even laundering because it's all the money's not dirty, but it's like she then doesn't have to like. She can spring up and have a bank account somewhere and like just put cash into it rather than like transfer money from. There's no like paper trail of her money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like all off the books and off the grid.
I just don't know anybody that has bars of gold in their house.
No,
But,
no, of course not.
I
But
mean,
like,
it's okay.
yeah.
So they have a new rescue now. It's called Da Vinci's Dream because,
Oh, brother. Oh,
Mary,
brother. The Da
Mary
Vinci
Magdalene
Code.
and the whatnot.
Because she's
Yeah,
like, Dan Brown is God. Like, she's
yeah.
like,
It's cats and dogs now, which sort of made me happy because you don't love
yeah,
dogs. But they're hiding behind another animal rescue. But there, I
yeah.
mean, there was a website, so we should look. Okay, back to Beth Karras. Beth Karras says Cheryl could face sanctions or prison terms for these financial crimes, but it would pale in comparison to what has been wrought on her followers. She's destroyed families and people. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Beth.
Poor Mark says he hasn't spoken to his children
She
since
doesn't
February.
add one thing. She just summarizes what we've already watched. Like, we're like, yeah, I know. Yep.
She's our voice of reason. She's our reliable narrator. So poor Mark says he hasn't spoken to his children since 2013, and they're now adults. We see some blurred photos of some adults and babies. The blurring of the faces is funny because they do it in an exact oval.
Yeah, of their face. Well, that's the thing is that because they don't have the consent to do, like, they can't.
So it must be his children, and one of them has a baby, and that's somebody found that picture somewhere on the internet.
Yeah.
He told the kids before they left, you might be 30 years old before you figure out what this is. But when you do, I'll be here for you. And he says, they're 30 now. They haven't figured it out. I don't know what to do. These kids are very indoctrinated. And even if they do figure it out, they're fucked for life because their mother is the one that did this to them,
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad.
So Mary Lancaster, we get a wonderful ending to her story and says she left, that first woman. That was a great experience, but they didn't stay together. Now she has a wonderful wife, a stepdaughter, a beautiful home, and a great career. She still likes cats. She shows us her cat. Now we get the ending card, which is the black screen of death. Producers reached out to Cheryl and her children for comment on the statements made in this program and have not received a response. Current followers have denied any wrongdoing and alleged that claims against Cheryl and her ministry come from former members who are in a hate group aimed at slandering their ministry. Cheryl Ruthven is still active and currently living in Columbia, Kentucky. Now, I have to assume Ruthven is Mark's last name because she's never changed it. So probably that's how they found these kids because Ruthven is a real weird last name.
Yeah.
So I think it would just take a light Google to figure out who all these kids are. But that's the end. And we talked for an hour and 35 minutes. Some of this I'm going to cut you guys to put for like bonus content over on Supercast, Patreon, whatever.
Blabbed along is what we did.
We blabbed a lot, and some of this is not suitable for the main feed.
No, sure.
So, Chris, I always love talking to you. And you guys, Chris has a great podcast called Fixing Famous People. I've been on it, talked about Todd Chrisley. And when I tell you the funniest thing happened, I think I tagged you in the post. The funniest thing, or I sent it to you. The funniest thing happened a couple of weeks ago. I was talking to Keisha, and we were talking about our other trash show. We watched Love After Lockup, and there was a hairdresser, like B character friend, and he had such like chiseled cheekbones. And after like the second time we saw him, I said to Keisha, I go, I think he like got like cheek implants. And she's like, you think? Duh. Yeah. She goes, he went to the Todd Chrisley School of Plastic Surgery. And I was like, whoa, you're right. And she was like, are you stupid? And then I just said, like, God, don't we wonder what Todd Chrisley is going to look like when he comes out of prison? And she said, Grandma Faye or Nanny Faye or whatever they called her.
Yeah.
When I tell you, it was like I had to cut I was crying.
Yes. No, but like
I'd forgotten about Nanny
all
Faye.
that filler is going to go somewhere while he's in prison.
I'd forgotten about
pulling a Cheryl, having the time of his life.
Any time for Todd Chrisley. Yeah. Not picky. It's not funny, but yeah. So who are you breaking down over there on Fixing Famous People now?
We this week just fixed Raven Simone with our guest Sequoia Holmes from Black People Love Paramore, and she's now on the Unwell Network doing a daily show.
Okay, did Raven Simone need fixing? I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mary Payne.
No, I didn't know that about Raven Simone.
No, you'll see as you go through the journey. Basically what the show is, the first 30 minutes is Wendy Williams Hot Topics with me and Dominic. Dominic was at the SNL 50 concert at Radio City, sitting betwixt the stars. And so we do a full 10 minutes on like everything about it, everyone he saw, everyone that blah blah.
You're
So like
you're jumping to your couch to watch Sheila. I am jumping to my phone to listen to this.
so we
Yes.
do a whole thing of that. We talk about the SNL thing this week, you know. But first 30 minutes is Wendy Williams Hot Topics. The next part is we have a guest on. We pick a celebrity client every week that
Mm-hmm.
needs some fixing. They're either in PR hot water or we just want better for them, which I think is more of a Raven thing. We just want better for her.
Okay.
And we break down their career. We talk about their career. We talk about like whatever scandals they may have had or they're currently in. And then at the end, Dominic and I, my co-host, we both pitch an idea of how to fix this celebrity. And then the guest, like Mary Payne, pick the winner. And so this year we're doing Raven Simone. We're going to recap the Oscars once it's the Oscars. We have a lot of, we have a lot of really good episodes.
I'm just very interested in Dominic being at that concert.
He was like in the same row as Meryl Streep and Martin Short.
I can't. I watched that
like,
start to finish as well.
Yeah. It was, get ready.
How do you get that ticket?
Running into Anya Taylor-Joy at the hand sanitizer station.
Stop.
Yeah.
How did he get that ticket? How is he
One
in
of
that
his
world?
friends has worked at MTV and then CNN for like a very long time. Dominic's worked in TV for like a very long time. So has a lot of friends that are very connected, and he got some tickets through that to a friend, and they all went together.
Fun fact about me, I used to work for Turner Broadcasting Government Affairs, and we're in the CNN building, and it was during the OJ trial. And I would like be in the bathroom every single day washing hands next to Greta Van Susteren, who was like going on to talk about she was the #1 like OJ correspondent for CNN. Yeah. And now she's, has a new face and is on Fox, and she's a Scientologist. But didn't know all that about her at the time. Just thought, here's this lady. And I would literally like, you'd be in the elevator with Larry King and stuff. And I was like, man,
and meanwhile, it's the trial of the century. It's like all we talked about
And I was at work, and because there's TVs everywhere, because you're in the CNN building, that's all I did at work. I'd be like answering the phone, like Turner Broadcasting Government Affairs, like, hold on, like they're doing the glove. Like I just, So you really can't ask me any question about that trial that I don't know. And I didn't have a choice. It was just on all day.
They really will just do another whole thing on the same exact like this is the thing is like with those big cases. I watched like the Lacey Peterson thing, and I just rewatched the new OJ one, but it's like we knew all this. Like they really will just do another thing and like be like, there's no new things to talk about at all, but we'll still just do it.
I know. Well, I mean, Kate was like, you got to watch it. Kate was like, you have to watch it. I go, Kate, there's not one thing you can tell me that I don't know. She goes, I think you're going to find out some new things. I go, no, I bet I don't. I was like, because not only did I watch it all literally, because I just watched it all, then I've watched 100 documentaries and probably read 6 books. I said, and no, I didn't learn anything, but I did.
The OJ one,
I did watch all 3 hours.
I feel like, the OJ one, I feel like it was like, oh, I knew this.
Okay, will you come back on in a few weeks and we will break down the Sheila documentary?
Yes.
It's called like My Name is Sheila, Call Me Sheila, I Am Sheila, whatever it's called.
Yes, I will. I cannot wait to watch it.
Because Wild Wild Country I've watched twice.
It's one of my favorite things I've ever watched. I think in my opinion, like everyone is always trying to chase the high that they got off of Wild Wild Country.
It's so well done. And
like everything that they make like now is like trying to be that, and it just simply is not.
But Sheila, was in prison for a while, and now she runs an old folks home like in Switzerland, and she still is dying to be famous. So it's fascinating.
And one of the best shots of anything I have ever seen in my entire life is like found footage that they had where it's all this commotion. Oh my God, someone's coming. They roll out a red carpet, and then it's a camera shot that I'll never forget in my life. It's like the camera person's like adjusting figuring out what's going on. And you watch as the red carpet has already been rolled out. Someone has a little handheld dirt devil and is vacuuming the carpet by hand. And the camera is like, as if on Housewives that we like zoom in on like, oh my God, we're at Nini's house and like Kim Zolciak is showing up unannounced. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like panic.
As if like, can you believe that this is happening right now? And it's literally just like jumping around, and it just zooms in on the guy vacuuming the red carpet with a handheld dirt devil. And it's the single funniest shot of anything I've ever seen in my life. I've rewound that 9 million times.
And you're like, if only one day.
And the music is like level. The music is like Jesus Christ himself is about to walk out of this car. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so good. Everything about it.
You guys, if you didn't watch Wild Wild Country, what are you doing with your
What are
life?
you do? Why are you even here? Like, what
And
are
the,
you doing?
it's so good. And then also, of course, the follow up, Sheila, which I've just changed Chris's license,
I'm
told him
watching
that
this week.
existed.
I'm watching this week, and then when I'm back from Vermont, we'll do it.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, everybody, make sure you are following Chris DeRosa Fixing Famous People. And you're also on Instagram. Is it just the Chris DeRosa?
It's yep at the Chris DeRosa.
I'm so weird. I can remember these
I mean,
Instagram names,
it's just my name.
but it's
Yes.
the.
Yeah.
And please listen to his podcast, y'all. It is so funny. A lot of people that you know are on there. Kate's on there. Sometimes Kristen Meisner, just like funny, great people. And they do the fun thing at the beginning where you do like hot topics, and it's great.
A lot of people say like I don't need to like pay attention to tabloid news anymore because you tell me what I need to know. And I'm like, yeah, that's true.
That's exactly what I need in my life. I
Yeah.
need somebody to break it down for me so I don't have to pay attention, because then sometimes real news sneaks in and then I panic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't need that.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Bye.
Bye.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.